Hey YouTube, how's it going? This is NEStalgiaholic. Hope you guys are doing good. I wanted to show you a quick collection when I was growing up. I used to be huge into this collection. I know a lot of people were into Magic cards, Magic the Gathering, and those are cool. I never really got into Magic the Gathering, to be honest with you, but back in 1994 I did get into Star Trek Customizable card game. I don't know if you guys remember this, but this came out in 1994. I want to show you my collection, talk to you a little bit about the history of these cards. And they're actually really cool cards. Okay, so here is a closer look at my collection. I got this really cool box. Now, each pack would come with 15 cards. And in this pack, I think there'd be like a couple, like maybe one rare card and a lot of commons, and there's uncommons, etc. so forth. You could also get these 60 card starter sets, and you have to use 60 cards to play this game. I have this official player's guide as well that I picked up with it, and it tells you how to play it and what each card does. There's different cards. Daddy Laughing is actually a card, that exclusive card that came with this book. Now, if you look, the first set of cards actually had a black border, and they were the more rare cards, or they printed less of those. Then they had the white border, which are the more common ones. Most of what I have are the white border cards. So let's take a closer look at these cards. Now, here's a closer look at my Federation cards. They start with personnel, and I'll show you an example. Now, obviously, the main characters, like Jean-Luc Picard, are a lot more rare than the other common characters. As you can see, on the very bottom, you have your integrity, your cunning, your strength, and they have different abilities, diplomacy, etc., so forth. Obviously, strong leadership. Federation tend to be strong in cunning, not very strong in strength, high numbers, and integrity tends to be pretty high number for them. So there's Tasha Yar. These are really cool figures. Now, there were several expansion packs as well. There was Q, Continuum. I think there was the Star Trek, the original series as well. I believe they had Deep Space Nine. I only got into the next generation of cards. Here's an example of what I was talking about with the black border and white border. That's Montgomery Scott. If you're a big fan of Star Trek, the next generation, then I think you guys would get a kick out of these cards. They're pretty cool. And then you got your ships, of course. And I'll show you, this is the Uss Enterprise, and this has got range 9, I don't know how well you can see it, weapon 8, shield 9, and then you got your Federation outpost. It's pretty fun. I won't get into too much detail on how to play it, but right at this point, but it's a pretty fun game. Let's check out the other personnel we have. Here's a look at my Klingon figures, personnel. They tend to be strong in strength, which is good, and not very cunning. This is an interesting card right here. This is K. Tesh. This is John Tesh when he actually guest starred on the show, which is pretty funny. And you got your ships, of course, your your outposts. There are 363 cards in the first edition that came out. I am missing maybe half a dozen, maybe about 6 or so of those. And obviously there's a ton of expansions. The last cards they made for the line, I believe, was back in, I think several years back, 2007. I mean, it was pretty recent. Not quite sure on the top of my head, but Decipher was a company that made these. Here's some more personnel that don't really follow into the Federation, Klingon, or Romulan set. You got Ferengi, the Cardassians. What's interesting is you also got these ships here. This is probably this Husnock ship is probably one of my favorite ships. Look at the shield, it's 12, which is extremely powerful. Weapons are 9. That's probably one of the most powerful ships you can find. It's a pretty rare card. And Rogan Dinar is good to have on your team too. These guys can be on any of your team. He's got strength of 12, cunning 9, so he's interesting. He's biochemically altered, as he was in the show. So those are good cards to have. On to other cards. These are the dilemma cards, and these are probably some of the most important cards you can have in your deck of 60 cards. You need about 10 to 30 of these, and it basically causes your opponent a dilemma based on what you play. Now, the black border cards I have at the bottom are the expanded universe ones I was talking about earlier. They're from the Q Continuum. I wanted to show you a dilemma here. This is probably one of my favorites. This is the Borg ship, and it's self-controlling ship. Weapons 24, shields 24. Start here, attack everything, and on every turn, move one card towards and off spaceline and destroy for bonus. So it's a very powerful card if you play it. And there's obviously other cards you can play to counteract that, but depends if your opponent has that or not. So, moving on. These are some event cards. You can have up to 5 of these in your deck. And these are played. These are very powerful. These can be very powerful cards, both to attack and to defend. I'm going to show you one. These are kind of cool cards. These treaty ones, so you can play Federation and Klingon cards in the same deck, which is cool. This one, Federation and Romulan, which is really cool. So these are the mission cards. The deck, the game starts with 6 missions, and if you can see here, on the bottom of each mission, it shows you which characters can. So this is Federation and Romulan. Some of them are only, Romulan. Some of them are only Klingon. Some of them are only Federation. But these are interesting. And these are all based on where they went on the show, which is really cool. There's a lot of them. Cards, and very similar to event cards, you don't want to have more than 5 total of event or interrupt cards in your 60 card deck, and these are played just like events, and they're very powerful cards, and they do various things to change the outcome of the game. This Day of Laughing is the one I got with the book. Interesting. There are only a few artifact cards, and you can only use these on planet-based missions. They do various things. This Betazoid box. Look through the draw deck. 30 seconds. Choose 3 cards. So you basically can look through your opponent's card and take 3 cards. That's pretty cool. So they're pretty powerful cards as well. Here are the equipment cards. You can have 0 to 5 of these cards in your deck. And you can use these or you don't have to, but they just do various things to add strength and stuff to the characters, etc. so forth. And this is the doorway card. You need this card to expand into the alternate universe expansion packs as well, so you need to play that card. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is a really fun game to play. It's complicated, that's why I didn't want to get dive too much into how to play, but maybe eventually if you guys want to know how to play, I can show you. But it's very fun. I definitely recommend if you guys are into Star Trek or playing cards, etc. so forth, definitely look into looking in these. These are fairly cheap even now on eBay and stuff, so definitely worth looking into, and very fond memories growing up playing with these. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, take care.